Thokozani Bukhosini. It's Monday. I'm Gogo Lerato. I'm Gogo Kandalembube. Very interesting topic. I don't think we're going to finish it today. And Umkulu came up with a brilliant plan. He just put a table and desk for me, a desk and chair for me, so that I could actually just hold up my phone. I hope I'm holding it properly. What an interesting topic we're going to have today. It's going to be very controversial. But like I always say, these topics are meant to provoke our thought processes. They are meant to awaken us in the true sense. They are meant to propel us to love our gifts. And they're meant to push us also to understand certain things. And none of these topics can actually be looked at in isolation. All of this is like background knowledge, and you're going to knit them together. Thokozani, let's pray. Let's pray today. Jesu Kriste matla ohle wena khanya lefatshe wena re bulela nditsela ra o meme wena morena modimo ya matla ohle ra meme wena ntate modimo wa lehodimo ra o bitsa wena mme wa lewatle ke le mema kaofela bonkgono bo ntate moholo manyelo ikhutlong tse nne tsa lefatshe haebe wena tla bua morena modimo ya bopileng tsohle haebe wena o tla khantsa nditsela Jehova haebe lona bonkgono bo ntate moholo le lona manyeloi ba ntseng tsohle ba nketeletseng pele ba butseng neo yaka ke phamisa tsohle ho lona bonkgono bo ntate moholo ke bitsa wena monga wa neo yaka Jehova ka sebele ka lebitso la le matla Jesu Kriste, amen. So today I started my prayer ka lebitso la Jesu, and I know I it may also look a bit like, but why? Because she agrees or doesn't agree with the Bible. But like I said, the purpose of these topics is to knit the gift together, irregardless of where your gift is. Whether profeta or umgoma, these things, they work hand in hand. So firstly, I'm just going to go through my analogy. We are the differentiations of God. I know it looks like I'm repeating the same thing, but it's absolutely important. I'm basically drumming this into anyone and everyone who gets to watch my teachings, that we are the differentiations of God, because that means that there is never a time when we're walking outside of the realm of the divine. That means there's never a time when we cannot summon Badimo Barona, when we cannot connect with our higher self, with our source. It is the reason why we are given these gifts, to remember that we are differentiations of God. So today's topic, self-twassing. What is to self-twassa? I mean, is it possible to become a self-initiate through dreams? I hear a lot of people, speak for this. Other people speak against this. But I think the biggest thing that I want to do today, actually, is to speak about bungaka in general. Because I think that's going to give us the background context. What is it? All right. And particularly today, I want to speak about bungaka tsupe. Bungaka tsupe, it's ka Setswana. Ka Sotho ke bungaka chicha. NgesiXhosa it's iqhwele, amaqhwele. Ngesinguni or ka siZulu ke magedla. All right. And what I read today was so interesting, that one of the first recorded healers, I think, was in Nigeria as well. So interesting. I think it's I don't know, I forgot that phrase, the type of healer that work with water. And I'm not saying gore ngaka Thupe e bereka ka metsi fela. Right. I want to actually specifically say this. There is Moprofeta, informed by his tunya, informed by prophetic prevalent water spirits. There is Umgoma, informed by earth spirits, and then collecting all the other elements. Right. And then you get Ngaka Thupe. Right. Ke eng? What is Igela? Right. Ngaka Thupe, I had a wonderful prophet a year ago who gave me the definition of Ngaka Thupe. He was telling me that I'm moving out of Umguni and into Ngaka Thupe spaces, and I had such a hard time removing my beads. It was a problem. And the definition that he gave me was that Ngaka Thupe means Ngaka e Thupang. Okay, let's use English. Ngaka Thupe is a healer that expresses, that is self-explanatory. It is through the deeds. It is through watching their life. Even before they know of this gift, that Kingaka, wa ithupa, bongaka batemba ithupa. It's not necessarily gore boathwasiwa. So what is that? What does that mean? Gore ngaka ye ithupa, you know. How are they different to every other healer? Firstly, Ngaka Thupe itwasa sitsu sayon. Ngaka Thupe, funny enough, is directly linked to your blood ancestors. Ngaka Thupe is a great-grandmother, a grandmother. It is an inclination to have some type of spiritual wisdom. Right? It is an inclination. This type of bungaka is clear, I think, for all those around you as you run your life. Now, why would a person be given bungaka Thupe? A, that person could be somebody wa kubogosi. That's normally the most typical reason. Bungaka bo ke bungaka bo eleng gore it connects you to the ancestors of that land, which is why bungaka Thupe is prevalent, you know, is easier when you trust your own people. Ke badimo or bogosi ba motse o. So Ngaka Thupe would be a descendant of Amakhosi directly. Ngaka Thupe, even when you look at them and their personalities and their challenges, one of the biggest challenges that Ngaka Thupe would experience growing up is not an identity issue. They generally do not go through identity issues with regard to who they are. They go through issues of their position in the family. Ngaka Thupe hangata is kabuyene. We would call, let me say, you could very easily define Ngaka Thupe as somebody who's having endowed spirit only. Okay? That person, I'm guessing that's where, you know, if we had to have impande yamandao, that person would probably need to go to Mpandeo. Because Mundawateng normally is so greatly coiled, coupled. Libadimu baka Muntlung. Mundao actually is Lidlozila Muntlung. Dlozila Teng does not differentiate to say, here's a Nguni spirit, here's a Ndao spirit. Mutwateng, normally, they've got a very high level of intuition. Right. And how would they see this when they're young? I mean, how do you see a child gore a child una le bungakatshupi. Children like that in general, they're intuitive. But again, you know, what's the difference between Bone and Mngoma? Because Mngoma has gone through a lot of emotional pain from the family. Those are the early stages, early signs. Generally ostracized by the family. Mngoma is generally ostracized by their family. Whether they grew up naughty or whatever, and then what they generally do is they start to keep quiet and become very withdrawn. That is a Mngoma child when you see them. They are generally very withdrawn children. And they are children that with time they struggle with their voice and to manifest things outwardly to the world. Right. What's the difference? Ngakatsupe always gets into trouble. But it's always a way of cultivating their gift. Most daddy ngakatsupe ke bana ba stout. They are very naughty kids. They are naughty kids. They are not visibly bubbly, but ba stout. One of my boys is like that. And I think it loba ngakatsupe. My son, you could give him a brand new airplane. I don't know what his hands do, you know. Next thing, Khutswadi springs in that airplane, and now I understand what happened. It was a brand new one. He can undo a lot of things with such ease, right? So those are children by generally, especially when we are parents to them. We struggle to connect with them because these are children, it's like they have their own beat. They are not very sociable children. They talk, but and they take time to warm up to people, right? Mngoma child would also generally be able to do that, but Mngoma child in general, you know, and things like that. Once they get to become familiar with particular people, then, you know, they just continue. So Bungakatsupe, they are very, very, very intuitive. And they experience adult situations when they are young. Why? This is their dlozi propelling them, preparing them for the realities of life. These people, kidi realists, right? And badimu babone, baba eta di realists, they give them the hard realities of life so that ba khone gore le bone ba understand gore mo ke mo lefatsheng. Ngakatsupe is, I think, one of the most real people, the most intuitive. However, here's something that is very interesting that I've seen with the trend Ngakatsupe that I get to read. In general, they don't necessarily have a way of describing the source of their gift. You know, do you believe in Badimu? Do you believe in what? They are generally very open. They will never subscribe their gift to a particular spiritual entity. Some, Yadingakatsupe, they find it very difficult to connect with what we call Idlos. Maybe because they've never had the description. To them, you work for what you've got. You pray, you give thanks, and you share. I think also because and that are supposed to hold a particular position, they normally become the sponsoring child. They normally become the sponsoring child. Normally, the financial, the emotional, the psychological responsibility of lechaye, they automatically just take that responsibility on themselves. I don't know whether it's thrust upon them, but it's something that it's like normally they are the first people who bereka, and haba bereka ke bone bale ngaka Thupe o e bona ka di plastic kwa bone ka first salary. They don't need to be told. Ba profeta rona, our first salary, we're gonna blow it at a club. We're gonna have a lot of fun. So dingaka Thupe are generally very home oriented. It's this dlozi that it's like they're getting blessings because of the things that they do right. Now, I try to think and imagine in the Bible who would be equivalent to Ngaka Thupe, and I would say Prophet Ezekiel. You don't really see any mention of his parents. You don't really see any mention of how this gift of his came to being what it was. This guy was not a king. Most of Ezekiel, and you look at even his prophecies, it's Ngaka Thupe style in the sense that akuna any real background of idlozi, of him having to do any offerings, of him having to do anything. You look at Prophet Ezekiel, it's like Mudimu just decided to come to him, right? It's interesting. I just tried to read up on who the parents by Ezekiel were, and the only thing that I found more Google was that it is presumed that his parents were old people, right? Because in the Muslim text, Ezekiel is actually referred to as son of old men. Ngwana motsofe. Right. And Hangata, Dingaka Thupe have that very same thing. Even their parents have gone through a lot in life. These are generally people that I think would also be raised kibo grandmothers. People Hangata baba feel the responsibility of kibo koko babone. I don't know why. Then in general they would have ubukela. They have a direct link namadlozi abo aphilayo. So they never really need to be taught idlozi, because it's like they just presume that position where they take care of abadala babo abaphilayo, and it is within them. Their dreams and even their messages come through their parents. Hence, I'm saying ukuthi igedla kahle kahle linomdawo or more prevalent. And I think that is why most of the time igedla alithwasi. There's been a lot of arguments, and I've heard, people, say that amagedla ayathwasa and that. But the reality is, why should they? Igedla lazi idlozi lalo eliphilayo from day one. Igedla is very decisive. These are people who can make hard decisions. Igedla is a strategist because likhuliswe ngabantu abadala, or they've been given some type of spiritual inclination. So why would Igedla, Ngaka Thupe, why would Ngaka Thupe need go thwasa? Right. My older sister, from my father's side, Ngaka Thupe, and she is a religious person, believes very much in her religion. She came here to see me as her younger sister. And even before she had twasad, the week of my graduation, my older sister phoned me and she said to me, there's going to be a choice between the gift that you are going to eventually graduate. And I see that there's a prevalence of the ancestral gift, but I want you to light up candles in a particular way, at a particular color. This was somebody who was she is in a call it a secular church. How would she be able to perceive a vision that I was shown in a dream? Asotwas. Nasa Twasa, she had done nothing. And Ankinsetsa Toro, she interpreted the dream that I had a week earlier, and I did not understand what that dream meant. But she gave me the remedy to that dream. Right. So I was dumbstruck. And on the day of my graduation, she brought me blue and white and glass and crystals and that. Nothing about what she had brought symbolized Isintu. I was graduating Isintu, but I was graduating as prophet as well. But at the time, as prophet was not something that I fully connected with. Like I've always said, I thought his prophet is not proper gift. And when she arrived by virtue of her presence, a lot of things prophetically made sense. So what I'm trying to say is, my older sister, by virtue of her gifts aligned me to the true gift that I was given to begin with. It was after she came that I realized that I was actually a prophet all along. And she didn't need to give an elaborate explanation, you know. So normally intuition yabatuba is very, very, very clear. And when she came a week later, because I could see what she's got, you know, and at my graduation, the following day, I'd taken some of my family members go meeting and that, and she's explicitly said to me, "Not right now." And I said to her, "You know why?" And she couldn't explain it to me. But I realized when she came 2 weeks later that actually those gifts that she had brought me, in a ilidikika, in a ilibungakatsupi, and she needed me intuitively to align with that gift before I could open it for her. It was just the craziest thing. Right? So, Ikeda is just, they're a little bit, it's a bit complicated, tabayabone, because we would say batante batwase, but hangata, not the dlozi that wants or the dlozi that works bungakatsupi. Yes, it will align with Badimu Babang, right? It can align with Badimu Babang. So if you are Ikela, you can definitely have Abanguni, Labafunuk Twasiwa, right? And Nabo, they are just there to add on to your gift, maybe to give you perspective. Maybe even uguti mase utwasa, you will understand uguti you are going through a spiritual transformation. But sidimusa butube has it twasiwi. Sitwana limundao. Kabo sona kimundao. So, you know, now it takes us to tabaya self-twassing. What is that? What is it? I know a lot of healers, we are against this, and you know, I hope today to put it in context, right? I want to say this today. Every healer, ibonsiwa dilo moditoro, unless if uli igel. Amagela, most of the time they don't have a lot of dreams. They dream of what they need to dream, and it's normally an instruction. Most of the time, their intuition. But when we go to Tabaya self-twassing, every healer, that is why it's important to have a dream journal, right? That is why it is important uktandaza upatla, right? That is why you've got to do all of this. Even epehlweni, when you are not dreaming, there is a problem. Even when you've had intwas or whatever, when you are not dreaming, even linna after I'm done hotwasa, when I spend too long kisalori, there is a problem. So gahle gahle, we are all shown our spiritual gifts through dreaming. Actually, the dreaming, I would say, is tunya ore umguni wako, the fundamentals. And without those dreams, it doesn't matter what your gobela can tell you, right? There's going to be issues. There's somewhere where you are not aligned. So, am I saying that people should twasa through their dreams? No, it's physically not possible. Right? You can twasa through your dreams. But only if you will know how to interpret that dream in the morning. And only if you will be able to interpret that dream and apply it. Now, that's where iphehlo comes in. Right? And that's where abanguni idlozi lasekhaya that wants ukuthi lifehlelwe. That's where it comes in. Where you will have a gobela or somebody who can help you to apply your dreams. Help you to interpret your dreams. Help you to do what your dlozi wants. So actually, ugobela is a facilitator. Ugobela cannot really ever make or break your gift, ever. Right? I used to believe ukuthi even ugobela should not akhiphela amabai, but I had a very interesting I can't call her my twasa. I had an interesting few days with another lady this past week. And it was interesting because when she arrived on Wednesday, she arrived this past Wednesday, and by Saturday, she had left. Right. When she arrived, I asked her, "Did you see anything on your way here?" And she said to me, umkhulu wam uthengize lapha. She is Zulu, prophetic and ancestral. And I thought, well, what am I going to do now? You know. She just said to me, umkhulu uthe ulungise yonke into. And when we started with the drums zasezayoni, umguni wakhe was Pumela nomda wakhe. But what I'm trying to say is she came out, this lady, in 3 days, having her dlozis inform her. And I remember, I like I'm saying, that's the point that I was trying to make, that I'm generally not a firm believer of ukhiphela umuntu ibai lakhe. But on Wednesday morning when I woke up, her people started to shout at me, and I couldn't understand why. Why? They were saying I'm not doing what I should be doing. They don't have time to waste. And then I looked at ibai lakhe lengonyama limnyama. And it's only then that I realized that, oh, okay, umkhulu wakhe uye umngoma. But abogogo gahle gahle kimagedla kenankereke. So after we went and we got her a white cloth, ningonyama emhlophe, her things opened up. Everything of her started to run itself. She was never taught ditaula. She was never taught anything. We just did what we asked for. Right? So that is why I'm saying, Hore, Gobela is basically a facilitator. Gobela is only there to understand the messages of your dreams. Nothing more. Nothing more. And now that Ribuaka self-twassing libukela, now the question becomes, how is an initiate's period of time of initiation quantified? Why can you stay 6 months, others a month, others 3 months, others a year? And I will say this. My husband and I have been running an experiment. And I hope one day I'm going to share this. Once I get to my 50th Twasa, I'm going to share this. It's going to be very interesting. Right? Considering that Sidimu is the one Baba go twasisang, the majority of the time that you are actually a Phelweni, how is that informed? Right? How is that informed? More so when you look at Amakela. As I said, they could be just akena ko lefetlong gore a phagamise mguni, or akena ko lefetlong la sporofito, by the way. And badimo ba dingaka tshupe, they are flexible. They are not particularly looking at a means to an end. They are not particularly looking at gore o thwasa yang. Badimu ba dingaka tshupe, they have got their way, and their way hangata, it goes in line with the tradition of the family, right? They wouldn't need gore batho motho wa bone. And I'm trying to phrase this right because I don't want to be misquoted. They wouldn't necessarily need gore motho wa bone a etse dilo in a way e leng gore batho ba bang ba itse. Most of people that I've seen ba leng dingaka tshupe amakela, they generally evolve on their own. And actually, every healer evolves on its own. Twasa your whole life, by the way. I'm still twasing. Right? And maybe that's why badimu babang, especially by gore they are surrounding a person onaling a gift ya bugela or bungaka tsupe. That's why there'd be more than just one yabadimu, because now khotlakinya o wangaka tsupe can pull in mguni, then mguni cannot bulandi tsela. Like in my case, utame wilo twasa bungoma whatever, or utame wilo twasa sporofeto, right? And then ubereke ka whatever diwasho or ditlhare, and then nako haiya ngaka tsupe ele starts now to come and make itself known, right? And let me say this, in general, people abanobugela ubuqhele are meant also, this gift is one of the gifts that is also for their own well-being. It's for their own well-being. Like I said earlier on, normally these are people that are leaders of the family. So these people are stewards for the resources, tabadimu, right? So chances are, ubugela, if the family or badimu ba legae view buprofeta and praises, or they view family and marriage as prosperity, ligela le lamugai will be married. You must be. Right? From my paternal side, our grandmother Wangaka Tsupe, she requires that. Ubatla lenyalo. Some of them is that kibungaka Tsupe mo batwetelang pili the family through hulukisa to take care of the family financially. Then you become a financial steward. They will enrich you financially. They will show you how to do things financially. However, that money means you're going to have your sisters, your aunts, your cousins, your whatever knocking on your door. Cheleteo is not just for you. Right? And hangata dingaka tsupe, they're a combination of these. Where marriage will be connected with building your legacy, will be connected with building the dynasty of the home, will be connected with protecting and taking care of the home and all of that. Normally it's a combination. Now, just let me have 1 minute. My battery's flat and my charger is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Okay? Now it is. Let me tell you guys of an interesting story of an interesting experience I had. And this one, take it whichever way you want. Ngaka Tsupe ha eno khona go bula bongaka. It doesn't matter gore e ka thwasa jwang if it doesn't align msamo. This one I want you guys to get right, because Ngaka Tsupe is ngaka eno gore is there to khwetela legae and e emisa bogosi. Like I'm saying, bontsi ba bone ke batho ba go bogosi. And I had a Ngaka Tsupe who came to see me last year, and he came with the wife. And he had issues with his mother, right? He had issues with his mother, and it's past pains, right? And when he came here with the wife was given a prophetic gift as well, right? He was struggling to connect with his gift. Everything had been done for him. And when we came back from Komiting, the grandfather wa gagwe wa Ngaka Tsupe said they will not release the gift to him because his marriage is not at a place of peace. And also, the wife belittles his mother. The wife belittles the mother-in-law. And the granddad, Ngaka Tsupe, was saying, I want to give you the gift. And that gift, that gift is going to be transferred also to your wife. So it's going to be broken down into profit or to your wife. However, I can't release this gift whilst you are disrespecting your mother and allowing your wife to disrespect your mother. Because the logic ya mkhulu Ntate Mogolo was ophekola yang ditšhaba when msamo waka is not complete. So Thokozani gangata Ngaka Tsupe also is very closely linked to Umsam, right? And while he didn't agree with me, but he had gone everywhere for Khutwasa Stwana, Khutwasa Ditaulata Stwana, and all of that. And he left, and he didn't even get what he needed to. It was the first time Kibwana someone's gift is abulege, because what the Mkulu said was, go home and go and give mom a gift and go and apologize for everything. And Makoti was actually asked, Wena, ukena kai because utlile ka dikgomo. And I thought to myself, why? You know. But the answer was simple. Makoti is there to enhance her husband's gift, right? She is there to support the kingdom. And through her supporting the kingdom, she'll be given a prophetic gift to be able to see certain things and to be able to pray about them, right? And connect with her husband's people. But the way that their relationship was structured, to the Lozi, it looked like Muno Uhulaganko. And that was a problem. All right. I saw another Mkulu saying, Igedla is a herbalist. Yes, Igedla is a herbalist, by the way. Igedla dreams or by intuition connects with certain plants. Goes, Willow Chika Muriana. They can also, I think they're also Dingakatseno or they can anticipate someone coming. whether it's virtue of the prophetic gift or it's by virtue of the plant itself. I've seen magedla among, they will go and be inspired to go and find a particular plant. And when they come back, there is a patient that wants that plant or that needs that type of remedy, right? So I'm just giving the fundamentals from a badimu or a kamukhai point of view. Yalikela. Why are they the way that they are? Right? We are going to go next week into why or how ubugedla connects this prophet and why they are so deeply connected. Right? And then ukuthi ubugedla mabuhlangana nobungoma. How does that work out? Right? If you think about it, is prophecy, is thunywa specifically, you can't go uyosiphakamisa uyosithwasa, right? In a way, uyovula umoya, right? Nomnguni as well uyamthwasa. So this goes back to what I was saying, ukuthi igedla can have opening spirits, but kahle idlozi eligedlayo, it's idlozi lasekhaya elinomdawo combined. They are combined, right? Most of the time, amagedla don't have beads, unless then they will put on beads because of the combination spirit. Amagedla, most of the time, you will see them kaditsipi mumatsogo. Some of them put on literally watches, jewelry, right? If you look at the Bapostori women in Zimbabwe, ke magedla, because we would say it's a church, but these ladies and these men have got a gift, their mates, Juang. Unless if baphakamisa is thunywa sabo through the church. But even if they do that, they keep on going to this church. It's not like when we twasa is thunywa, then uyapuma. They keep on going to this church, and their gift of healing with pure water, eventually, and not even herbs, and prayer, that thing. Because they connect to the source, and their source, actually, yeah, that's what ubukela is. They connect to their source, whether it's through idlozi or what, and the source is the one that informs the gift. So they can actually forego imiti eminingi. And most of the time, they don't use imiti eminingi. They don't use decombination. They literally, mutu ofuleng bungagatsupe, something as simple as a bangle to stabilize you. You know, you umutokulang, let me say I've got umguni and I'm ill and that. Or I'm struggling with my root chakra. That's what the Eastern teachings would call it. Igedla would be the person to perceive that insimbi on both your hands, minerals will ground you. So idlozi lakho will connect to the earth by walking barefoot. And umdawo wako, nomnguni wako, uyosiphakamela. Most of these people that I heard, I think two weeks back, it was a lady, she's like a medium. Mediums also, I believe, their foundations ngamagedla. Bungakatsupe is not only, or ubugedla is not only ukusebenza ngemithi. Ubugedla is to heal exclusively in your way informed by idlozi eligedlayo. Right? So that is why or how some people babana lens profit or libugedla. So it's a bit complicated, but actually that is the simplest form of a gift. And I believe it's one of the purest. I believe it's one of the purest. I believe it's one of the purest, right? I would also like to say that it's also one of the most ancient. Because if you think about it, the first traditional healer on earth, uthwasiswe ke mang. So that means that healer was Igela. Right. I read today also about different types of healers, right? Was trying to find out about the differences, Igela and that, and Abanguni, and what I have seen and what I've recorded. I was just trying to Google to just try to piece things together. And what Google had to say was that you get umgoma and then you get inyanga. So inyanga has got many different ways, right? There was another thing that I read today was that okradingaka tsa babelegi, midwives, spiritual calling towards midwifery, right? What are those people? Ke magela. Ke bongaka tshupe bo, because you have experienced it, you've lived it, you have gone, awaya skolong, ginto we pilang, right? And it's actually some of the gifts that are not really much, they're not mentioned a lot today. A lot of the reasons why we twasa is not mentioned, and we don't know this. And I think that's why sometimes you get caught up in the terms. We get caught up in the terms. Uguti, you've got this, you've got that, you've got this, you've got that. Ugutwasa would be to look at the process of becoming what you want to be. But bungakatsupe is, I think, it's not even a process. It is just being. It is just being, right? So I hope this is going to help you guys. Next week, I think I'm going to talk about bungakatsupe, Lisprofito combined, and why. And then ubugedla uthokozani obungakatsupe lebungakabasetso, and why, and how normally they show themselves. Today I was just covering, and I was actually a bit everywhere. I was covering the basics as to why we get to, why Igela and why, I'm going to say this, and I do stand to be corrected. Idlozi eligedlayo ganinye. I have never heard idlozi lelo likhupha umkhuba. I've never heard. Magedla normally badimba bone, they are very quiet actually. And idlozi lakhona, I had a lady, she is like my oldest sister in spirit. She came here to Twasa, and we started talking 2 years back, and I was like, I hope I get to help this lady to Twasa. She's amazing, right? But she is Igedla. And when she came here, we tried to do the drums and the pala and what. It was like a belling aphumi. It was like a belling aphumi. There was no mkuba. Instead, as we sang and I could feel myself heating up, she was just burping. Right? She was just burping. Even her name was a name on her ID. It was like I wanted a name on her ID. She was actually named after Ngakatsupe. The person that she was named after was the Ngakatsupe. So it was just so interesting. To this day, this gogo, I respect her highly. And her gift has taken many turns. This gogo, she evolves in whichever way she likes. Right? She's gone from ubungoma to ditaula to she's now at mediumship and astrology and numerology. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Even her clothing is very odd. And I feel that probably what her people wanted to teach me was that, a spiritual gift can take any way that it wants to. And to this day, I guess because I've got a strong prophetic gift, that's how we connected. But yeah, even Umuti, she doesn't write Umuti down. She wakes up and she gets told Imiti, the name. And sometimes she'll ask me, what does this Muti do? And I say to her, listen, I can only prophesy what it does and what it looks like. I've never heard of Muriano before. So that was another thing that I wanted to say, that idlozi eligedlayo normally lona on its own aliphumi like the way that we expect, right? Because it doesn't need to make a war cry. It doesn't. This is not necessarily a dlozi that has gone through impi, right? This is not a dlozi that needs to be a warrior. Maybe this dlozi, like I said, kila bukhosi. And batho bukhosi, they never had to go into war. They had, their strategists, right? And that is hangata also when you look at Igedla. Igedla, normally these people, they are strategists. They understand the balance of life and the balance of power. One last thing. Their only vice, Igedla's only vice, their only weakness is that they struggle with the identification of right and wrong in this world. Mindset yabone is crazy, right? But it's because they know that the yin and yang together, they combine. To them, right and wrong is a matter of interpretation, right? Igedla would, let me say a big difference. A prophet, would heal you through prayer and cleanse you and pray, but they would speak against you having had an abortion. Igedla simply doesn't have the time to look at the right or the wrongness of that, and I think that's why I love that gift. Habana nako. To them, they understand that life is always free-flowing, and that what a prophet would call an abortion and murder, to them, it is spirit having moved from one phase to another and back. So to them, an abortion is a spirit moving to this life and moving back to the spirit realm. They don't have issues with that. That's why they'll give you umuti to cleanse yourself, bayenze in whichever way that they see. They are totally without judgment. All right, so I don't know. There was a gogo wegedla a year ago. She was the first person to tell me that I've got a gift yabu gedla, but I don't know. All right, I don't know how to identify myself. I just know when I see amakedla manye, okay, right? They generally don't have a gift of right and wrong. And by the way, their gifts litsone normally di aparo li di pheka le mapai, but it's the dlozi that surrounds ubugedla. Idlozi leqhwele can easily wear its own clothes, but then they can easily wear their own clothes, and that's why color white normally iba easy. Color white and color red normally it becomes very easy because they connect with the universe at every level, right? And everything to them ketaula, and everything to them is a message. And even the way that they twasa, from my experience, I've never had igedla that I twice up completely. They come here, bafuna whatever that their people want, bayayithatha bayahamba. They go elsewhere, they take what they need to go where they go, bayayithatha bayahamba. Whenever igedla is ephehlweni and overstays their welcome, always, it always happens that way. Always happens that way. So I've got 2 minutes. Next week, I hope to continue ubugedla and the differentiation of how each culture uses imiti. This is going to be very interesting, right? And I also hope to touch gore ngaka Tsupe, yes, prophet, but ngaka Tsupe ya setso, how do they work and why do they function that way, right? I will say in closing, most people by now they are being told that they've got both a prophetic and an ancestral gift. Actually, and sometimes it disguises itself because of maybe the power elements, the power dynamics between the Dlozis and which one gets to open the gift and how the Dlozi is going to work. We're going to talk about that hopefully next week. Thokozani, I was fumbling today. I was waffling actually, because this is also one of my favorite topics, Bungaka Tsupe, right? So, hey, I get able la twasa na kadi Facebook, you know, le kadi toro, I get zip, but I think Lirona as healers, let us encourage those who dream. Let us encourage them to go and see Okobela, but make them understand that there is an aspect of them that needs Kutwasa, not the complete gift. Uktwasa for them, especially Amakela, there is only an aspect. There is only an aspect that they need from a Pelweni, right? So let us really not mock them and say that these are people who twasa through dreams and that everybody twasas through dreams. If you don't have dreams, you got a problem, right? Good night to everyone. And today's topic, I think it's something that most people have not touched on. And I hope everybody we say that it's a special gift, but I think they don't get the right recognition. Another thing that I want to say is that in general, Bone, there are not people babaling able to function under a lot of noise and being cast down. You know, Rabafirkanya, they don't need that. So let's be a supportive community to them. Badimo ba bone le manyelo ya bone ba ba gantsetse ditsela. It's a very lonely road when you are Ikela because you can't really relate to anyone. So I hope that this is going to give you all that have been told that it's going to give you the courage to just step out and say, you know, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to be okay. So, Thokozani to everyone. Yeah, Thokozani.